p.m. right in Swan Park, right down by the bridge in front of the hot cocoa stand, which is new this year. And we encourage everybody to come on out and see the lights. But if you can't be there on Friday night, come on out any night between Friday night and January 4th. We will have the lights on for you.
I'm pretty new to Beaver Dam, but it sounds like it gets bigger and better every year.
That is always my goal, and something that I always say. This year is going to be bigger and better than last year, and this year is no exception to that. We've got some new displays out there. My favorite display out there, believe it or not, isn't the big hot cocoa trailer or the deer shed that we spent so much time on, but my favorite one is the wireframe display of the elf chasing the snowman with the snowblower. It's pretty cool. It's right out next to the band shell. You don't want to miss it. It's quite funny, and we've got lights all through the park. I've been working through the last several weeks with so many people trying to get everything turned on. I mentioned one of the big new attractions this year is the hot cocoa display. And it's a big shed, a trailer for volunteers who are going to come and help us out by giving out free hot cocoa to anybody who comes out and sees the lights. And that's going to start Friday night. They're going to have it probably a little bit before we start Friday night. They'll have it out, set up, ready to go. But then for a couple hours after that, for anybody to get free hot cocoa. That's right. I said free hot cocoa. You do not have to pay a dime. When I pulled the trailer out the first day, I had a little youngster looking at me, watching me, and came over to me and said, "How much is the hot cocoa going to be?" And I said, "Free." And he said, "Really? I already called my mom and told them I need money for hot cocoa." I said, "You don't have to." But if you do want to donate and you want to give a little bit of money there to offset some of the costs for it, there's a donation box right on the left side of the trailer that you can drop it in. It says donations right there, and put it in the drop box. Or there's a QR code that'll be on the sign right above it. You can donate by PayPal if you'd like to do it digitally, if you'd like to do that as well. But we are going to have that a number of nights, including this Friday. The the Methodist Church here in Beaver Dam is going to be helping us out with that one. Community Care is going to be out there on Saturday night. That'll be from 6 to 8. Then it's going to be every Saturday night through the season from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then there'll be one other Friday night, which is Friday, December 12th. Again, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I'll have those put up on the hot cocoa display. When it's closed, there's something in the background that you can see, a nice little display in the background through the windows. Can't see it yet because I haven't revealed it through the windows yet, but that will be there as well. So, and of course, when Santa is here on December 13th, you got to have hot cocoa for Santa that night as well. We'll have it that night. We'll have caroling that night. The Beaver Dam High School carolers will be out there like they are every year. That really is a cool night. If we get a little bit of snow to go with it, Santa likes it, the reindeer like it, and the carolers love it as well. So come on out Saturday, December 13th from 6 to 8 for Santa, the carolers, and hot cocoa that night. So many events happening throughout this, and Santa usually makes a couple other appearances through the event as well.
Talk us through a little bit of what goes on leading up. I mean, to those of us who don't have anything to do with setting it up, I mean, we just get to show up and enjoy it. It just seems like magic. But there's a lot of work that goes on, like you say, beginning as early as March, all the way right up through the Rotary Lights.
Yeah, well, we go really March through February, and sometimes beyond that, because there's takedown as well. We've got to take it all down. So it is a ton of work, but it is so worth it. Really, we have a Rotary Lights committee that's a subcommittee of our Rotary Club that gets together 3-4 times a year before the event, coming up with new plans of coming up with ideas of things that we should buy, put together, and set up. And so this year we had a lot of work through the summer. I built the deer barn that's out there, which is housing our golf cart for our golf cart rides, but also we call it the deer barn because I've got deer looking out the windows and we got deer along the outside. It's where they go to graze while they're waiting to go deliver the presents. So I built that one through the summer. Dave Miller, a friend of mine from Miller Equipment Sales, helped with the hot cocoa shed. He built the frame, put the sides on, put the siding on it, and then I decorated it and painted it and did all of that. And so a lot of work went into those two. We bought the new wireframe displays. We bought new lights. All the Christmas trees on the pathway this year are the new version of lights. We phased out old ones, and so it gives me some ability to tweak the colors and make them change. And so that was quite a bit more work to do this year. We have more candy cane lights this year. The candy cane pathways go throughout the entire park and encompass the entire park. And what I'd really like the public to know is those candy cane lights are there for a reason. I don't want you to cross over them. Don't go on the other side of the candy cane lights. If you see other people, politely ask them to stay on the pathways. The reason those are there are because I have extension cords running all over the place.
Oh, gosh.
And I don't want people going through, tripping on the extension cords. So please do not walk inside the candy cane pathways or stay within the pathways. Don't cross over the candy cane lights in any place in the park. I would really, really appreciate that. Because as you go through, if you trip on a cord or something, now the lights go off, and I've got to figure out what happened and why they're not working. So please stay on the paths when you're in the park during Rotary Lights. It's very much appreciated.
Good advice, of course. Yeah, it's been my observation that Rotary clubs around the country really take the lead on their community holiday lights displays. Do you get together at a national level and bounce ideas off each other or steal ideas from each other?
No, it was just a fluke that this all worked out to be Rotary Lights Beaver Dam.
Okay.
I've reached out to Rotary Lights Lacrosse, and they've helped me out with some things initially. But this all kind of started off as a part of our leadership Beaver Dam class of 16, 17, best class ever. And we have to do a project, and my project was doing the lights. And then after I got it going the first year, being a member of Rotary, I brought it to the Rotary Club and said, "Hey, can we make this a Rotary Lights ordeal?" And they all agreed and are very excited. And so we do some great things. And so the last thing I want to touch on quick before we're done with this section is the letters to Santa. And I want to thank WBEV, Daily Dodge for their support through the years. We do letters to Santa. They help me get the letters in. If you have a letter to Santa, your kids have a letter to Santa, drop it off at the park at the gingerbread house. There's a mailbox on the side of it. Drop your letter to Santa off there. We'll pick it up. We'll get it in to Santa. Santa will then read it on the morning show. I believe it's at 6:50 in the morning, and then again I forget in the afternoon, sometime at 3:00 hour.
Okay.
I believe it'll be read by Santa on the air. Something that we were able to bring back. Santa read my letter on the air when I was a kid, and I remember that. And John Moser being here and being part of that, and so I wanted to bring that back. And so I reached out to Santa. He was happy to help us out, and so get your kids' letters in this weekend. If you get it in this weekend, we can get it on the air next week already. I was just talking to Santa about that here recently. So many great things at Rotary Lights, and more than we can talk about here in a short 10-15 minute segment. But come on out and enjoy it. Friday night starting at 5 o'clock, and then it'll be every night from about 4:45 until midnight. Each night the lights will be on.
And it all makes the Christmas season memorable and fun.
It does.
We need to take a break here, but we'll be right back. We're talking to Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt on Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
The WBEV Morning.
And welcome back to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV. Here is Terry Bell.
Thank you very much, Ashley. We're talking to Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt about all different kinds of things. Mostly all the theme is, of course, staying safe in Dodge County. If you have any questions or comments, we invite you to be a part of the program. You can call us or text us at 920-887-9595, or you can call our studio line at 885-4446. And we're so close to Thanksgiving, which means a lot of people will be traveling. Thanksgiving week is traditionally probably the busiest holiday travel week of the year. And unfortunately, it looks like we have a chance of maybe some bad weather tomorrow on Wednesday when a lot of people are hitting the road.
Yeah, and with us talking here today, I thought it'd be a really good time for us to talk about winter weather driving with this potential snowfall that we might have coming tomorrow, and really get ready for it because it's coming. So the first obvious tip that I have for everybody is when it's good weather, we need people to slow down. But when we have bad weather, we really need you to slow down and drive safely. Remember that ice, snow, slush, really you lose your traction, and every mile an hour you go faster means it takes longer for you to come to a stop. And so some of the things you need to remember is if you slow down, you can stop sooner. You're going to avoid that vehicle that's in front of you. Those cable barriers that they replaced out on 151 here this summer, you might have a chance of avoiding those if you slip to go into the median, as opposed to not avoiding them and hitting them, and now you've got damage to your vehicle. So many reasons why you just want to slow down, drive safely, and make sure that you can get to your destination. Increase your following distance. Think about your normal following distance of a car, and now increase that by 3-4 times. That's really your best bet, especially if you had a safe following distance to start with. Now you increase that by 3 or 4 times. Now you're giving yourself an even better chance of stopping, slowing down. Somebody has a deer run out in front of them, or they slide into the ditch, or there's a crash in front of them. You have an ability to stop and avoid becoming a secondary crash to that. So very, very important. Making sure your tire depth is sufficient. This time of year it's kind of getting too late, and I'm one of those people. I need to get my truck in to get my tires replaced. They're still legal, but they're kind of getting to that point where they don't work as well as they did when they were brand new tires. And to be quite honest, the brand new tires were factory tires. And factory tires, when you get a brand new vehicle off of the line at any dealer, they don't come with the absolute best tires out there. They come with factory tires. Okay. And something that I've always noticed that when my first set of tires on a new vehicle just are not as good as when you buy your second set. So keep that in mind. If you're getting to that 25,000 mile mark on your vehicle, your tires, if you get a new set of tires, you're going to have significantly better traction. And if you don't have that tread, it doesn't have the ability to grab that water, grab that slush, and push it out of the way, and you lose that traction. It pushes it up under that rubber, and now you lose your traction on your tires. Make sure that you brake and accelerate gently. We've all seen it where people are having fun and they gun it and they spin their tires, and we don't want to see that. But if you're thinking, I'm going to gun it so I can get in front of this car, remember, you're going to lose traction, and you might not do that. Now you're causing that person to have to brake and potentially causing other hazards as well. braking gently. Don't slam on the brakes. We have anti-lock brakes, and they do help to keep that, feel that pulsating when you're hitting them, and you're slipping. But if you can do it gently, if you know you're going to need to stop and start slowing early so you don't have to do that ABS, you're going to control your vehicle way better. You're going to have less risk of locking it up and going into the ditch, or having to steer to go down in the ditch, or needing to steer and then you can't because you turn the wheel and your car still goes straight. Staying visible. Staying visible and being able to view things. Keep your windows clean. I'm sure tomorrow, if we get any snowfall, I will see people out there that are driving with the credit card size hole in the front of their window because they've made a little small spot for them to see. Maybe not tomorrow, but as we go through the winter, you'll see that. One of my biggest pet peeves, and people do get stopped for that. I guarantee it, because I will stop them for that. You have to clean your windows off. And I've had people that I've attempted to stop for not cleaning their windows off, not stop for a mile with my lights and siren going, because they couldn't see me. If you can't see me with my lights and siren lighting up behind you, you aren't going to see the other cars that are on the road. You have to clean off your windows before you're getting behind the wheel of a car. Know when to stay off the road. If you are not comfortable driving in the snow, don't. If it is 6, 7, 8 inches of snow on the road, don't. If it's blizzard conditions, it's blowing, try to stay off the road. If you can avoid travel, that is the safest way for you to not become involved in a crash, is just not to go out there in the first place. But if you do have to, give yourself lots of extra time. And when I say lots of extra time, I don't mean 5 minutes. You might want to leave 15, 20 minutes early to get to your destination so you can drive there slowly and get there safely. Be prepared. Make sure that you have an emergency kit in your vehicle. Make sure that you have your snacks. Maybe have some water. Might freeze. You might want to take it in and out. Have blankets, a window scraper. Make sure you have gloves. I remember when I worked third shift, coming over from, I was between Horicon and Mayville, and there's a car in the ditch, and there were 4 kids in there, and it was about 2 a.m, and they're stuck, and they're freezing because their car isn't running because their tailpipe is stuck in the snow, and they're wearing shorts and t-shirts, and it is 15 degrees outside, and it's snowing. And I said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Well, we were just running to Walmart. We didn't think we'd be that cold that long." Didn't have any gloves, didn't have any mittens, didn't have any coats. If you're going to do those things, make sure that you have those other things in the car with you. So if you get stranded, that you can throw something on and you don't have to freeze. And then finally, don't drive while impaired. It's a holiday season. People are going to go out, they're going to have a good time. I am absolutely not saying don't have a good time. But make sure that you're not driving while impaired. That means don't drink and drive. That means don't use recreational drugs and drive. That means don't use prescription drugs like painkillers or antidepressants when you're driving, because those will all impair your ability to drive and make a bad situation even worse. So those are the highlights I have for you in this winter driving season. Just make sure you slow down, drive safely, and get from point A to point B as safely as you can. But the number one thing, please just slow down and drive defensively.
Especially early in the season, it seems to take us a little while, even those of us who've been driving in Wisconsin winter weather all our lives. Everybody seems to need a little bit of an adjustment period from going from those dry summer roads to the slippery winter roads.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody. We haven't driven in this since March, and so we need to get reacclimated to it. And the best way to do that is to do so slowly. We're definitely better at it than people in like Texas. When they get what we'll have tomorrow, they shut down the state. We'll be okay, but we do need to get reacclimated. And even after we're reacclimated, we have a lot of people that really struggle, and so we need you to be defensive. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. You can control only one thing: what's in your car. And if you drive defensively, no matter what anybody else does out on the road, you should be okay. But just keep that in mind. Don't get mad and don't have road rage at everybody else on the road because somebody else did something. You just control you. And if somebody is tailgating you, pull over and let them go by. Who cares? Just worry about what you are doing and drive defensively.
We're talking to Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt. We need to take a break for the news, but we will be right back. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Thank you so much, Ashley. Our guest for community comment today is Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt. If you have a question or a comment for the sheriff, you can join the conversation. You can call us or text us at 920-887-9595, or you can call our studio line at 885-4446. And Sheriff, since the last time you joined us, there was a situation that was very concerning. A pursuit that I think touched all or parts of 3 counties, and it was a very dangerous situation for not just law enforcement and the people who were leading the pursuit, but anyone that happened to be on the road at that time, any innocent bystander.
Right. We had a pursuit that it started. The State Patrol initiated the pursuit up in the Winnebago County area, and were not able to stop and detain the individual up in Winnebago County. It made its way into Fond du Lac County. Fond du Lac County deputies picked up that pursuit. And if you're familiar with Fond du Lac County, they have a very similar philosophy as mine. Is that if you are going to flee, you are going to get caught and you are going to go to jail. Unfortunately, Fond du Lac County wasn't able to catch them. The car that they had was. It was a really, really fast car. We'll just leave it at that. Sports type car, and came into Dodge County. We were monitoring, trying to locate that vehicle. It was located by Beaver Dam PD. They had a short pursuit with it that went out on Highway G towards Lowell. They lost sight of the vehicle, and then we began our search in that area. Spotted it a bunch of times. I spotted it once. But it was so far ahead that we never really were able to engage in a pursuit with the vehicle, even though we attempted to get caught up to get it stopped. But we did at one point get it boxed into an area in the Reeseville area. So we were able to coordinate, and you talked about it before. We've said it many times. You can't outrun the radio, and we had squads from the sheriff's office all around that vehicle, and it really was boxed in the Reeseville area. I had a resident give me a call and let me know that the car actually parked. We had every exit of Reeseville with somebody on it. We would have seen it go by. It parked down there in the Reeseville residential area. We located it. We got the vehicle, and they were picked up by somebody else. We had a deputy right on top of that car that picked them up, stopped the car, and we took the individuals into custody. We didn't have any fleeing charges because we were never directly involved in that pursuit, but we had charges of reckless endangerment of safety because the driver drove towards one of my detectives and almost hit one of my detectives while he was throwing out spike strips, and came very close. So we had reckless endangerment of safety. We had the criminal driving without a license offense, and so we booked the driver into jail, and then all of the other agencies that were involved had the opportunity to file their charges as well. So it was a very dangerous pursuit, and me as a sheriff, I'm obviously monitoring and seeing what are we going to are we going to continue pursuits, so on and so forth. When you drive at one of my employees and almost run them over, that ups the game. And if I was going to terminate a pursuit, that the likelihood of that termination probably goes down a little bit when you try to intentionally run, or at least recklessly, almost run down one of my staff when you're walking around. You are going to jail if you flee from Dodge County Sheriff's Office or anybody here in Dodge County. If we don't catch you that day, we will catch you, and you will go to jail. You will suffer the consequences, and I want that to be crystal clear. We do not just turn on the lights, let people run, and then let them go. There's other jurisdictions around the state that might do that, not as many anymore. We had a time when the city of Milwaukee did that, and we had an influx of pursuits here in Dodge County. And at the end of one pursuit, I went up to a guy and said, "Why are you running?" He said, "I didn't think you could chase us because they don't in Milwaukee." And that is the sole reason that he ran from us here in Dodge County. I want that to be crystal clear that in Dodge County, we will chase you, we will arrest you, and you will go to jail. And if you're convicted of a felony, there's a good possibility you're going to go to prison after that. It is not worth it, and I don't want people to think that this is some kind of game. People are putting other people's lives at risk when they do that, but I can't just allow people to run free, because that couple year time frame when that was happening, where Milwaukee was letting everybody go, we saw a huge increase, an explosion in pursuits. And when that stopped, the pursuit slowed down. We have to have accountability. When you have accountability, you have less incidents. And so we are going to hold people accountable, take people to jail, and the radio will be used, and we will do our very best to get you. In addition, this last summer, I sent all of my staff to pursuit intervention technique training. So if we get you in a right position and you're not stopping, we will spin you out. And just like you see on TV, we have that training. Fond du Lac County has that training now as well. And we are going to use that technique to take people into custody, to get people off of the road when and if we have the capability to do those types of things. We have to be careful when we do that, because we can't do it at times when it's a deadly force situation. If somebody's going 90 miles an hour and you spin them out, high probability somebody's going to die. So likely we're not doing it in those types of situations or certain circumstances, but we are going to take action to get people into jail when they do this.
I would have to think with the technology that we have today to identify vehicles, like you say, if we don't get you today, we'll get you tomorrow. I mean, it is the person who would put themselves in this situation and endanger a lot of other people must have some idea that it's not just you're not just in a race with other vehicles. You are being spotted all different kinds of ways these days.
Yeah, and well, we had a resident that called me personally and told me that's one way, but we have cameras. So we have cameras in our squad cars. If you're driving past our squad car in the opposite direction, we're going to be able to see you on that squad car's camera. You drive past somebody who's laying down spike strips. We have flock cameras. We have a lot of different ways that we can capture images. Now, sometimes when there's a temporary license plate or no license plate, that makes it a little bit more challenging. And so we'll certainly have to use some other means, but we still are able to gather the vehicle descriptors from those other cameras and try to track that individual down. So a lot of different technology out there that we can use, and we do use those things to track people. But bottom line is, if you flee, we are not afraid to chase and take you into custody. That's the message I want people to know. And hopefully with that message being out there, people understand we mean business, and we're not going to just let this go. And is it worth it? You don't have a license. You might get a fine. You might get a couple days in jail for it. Or you flee, you put yourself at risk, everybody else alive at risk, and now you're looking at over a year in prison. That's not worth it. So please, just pull over and stop. And then the other message I want everybody to be aware of is, if you see lights, you hear sirens, pay attention. Move over as quickly as you can. Don't take your time. Move over as quickly as you can. We got to be watching those mirrors, driving defensively at all times. We have too many times when drivers just don't see us. And it really is amazing, because people complain about how bright our lights are, but they don't see us. And that's mostly because they're not paying attention to what's going on around them. If you see a squad car coming with lights and siren, it might be a pursuit. It might be going to an ambulance call for an emergency, a CPR or something like that. It might be a domestic. Pull over to the right and stop. Pull over to the right and stop. Don't pull over to the left, and because we are expecting you to move to the right, and so our next move is going to be to your left. But please get out of the way as quickly as you can. Stop. Pay attention, because like deer when they're crossing the road, if there's one squad coming with lights and siren, there's a chance there might be more. So look in your mirrors and check. Are there more that I might have coming that I just should stay here? Or once you pull back out on the road, keep looking. Is there another one coming? Because a lot of times when we're going to emergency calls, we're going with more than one car, or an ambulance or a fire truck are coming as well.
We're talking to Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt about staying safe. We need to take a break right here. We will be right back. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
You can do more than just
Thank you so much, Ashley. We're talking with Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt today about all kinds of public safety matters, how to stay safe and legal and happy and healthy any time of year, but especially now as we're getting into the holiday season. If you have any questions or comments, we would appreciate hearing from you. 920-887-9595. And you can call our studio line as well, 885-4446. Another topic you wanted to talk about today, Sheriff, was a lot of misunderstanding that surrounds the topic of bail. And whenever people in the newspaper or hear on the radio a story about somebody who's accused of a criminal offense and a judge sets bond, there's often the feeling that the terms are not tough enough. And I think you wanted to clear up some misunderstandings about how that process works, how bail is set, and why it is done the way it is done.
Yeah, I think the judges and the district attorney get a bad rap when it comes to bail. The one thing I want everybody to understand is when anybody is ever charged with a crime and taken to jail, we do a press release. You'll always notice that there's one line in there that says, all persons are innocent until proven guilty in court. They have not been proven guilty when we put out that press release. They have been arrested, and we are bringing charges. And everybody has the right to that presumption of innocence until proven guilty. And so the Wisconsin Constitution and the United States Constitution have protection, the Eighth Amendment, protection against excessive bail. And so bail is not there to punish. It is not even there to hold somebody in jail because of the offense that they've committed. The bail is the primary purpose of bail is to ensure that they show up in court for their court appearances. Period. That is the primary purpose. It can also be used for protection of the public in very serious cases. But a lot of things have to be taken into consideration. The nature and seriousness of the offense, the criminal history, the risk of fleeing or failure to appear, the threat to public safety, community ties such as jobs, family, residence stability, those types of things. All of those things have to be taken into consideration by the judge when they're setting the bail. When we take somebody to jail, we expect, in most cases, that most people will be given a bond. Sometimes it'll be a signature bond where if they violate the conditions of that bond, they'll be held accountable and may have to pay that bond later. Sometimes, as in the pursuit we just talked about, that individual is being held on a $10,000 cash bond. And there's a severe risk of flight, right? She fled from 4 different law enforcement agencies in 3 different counties. The chance of her showing up in court after that, probably not real high. So those are the things that the judge takes into consideration. But I see when I look on social media, these judges are just going to let them off. They're lenient. It has nothing to do with leniency. It is not a punishment to put somebody on bail. It's to ensure their appearance in court. The punishment comes after they're convicted and the judge levies a sentence on them. When I see that, I just cringe. And I in a way, I feel bad for the judges and the DA because they're doing their job and they really can't push back. But people in the community, I would appreciate it if you would push back on these people that get all worked up because bail is set, quote, too low. It's not fair to those judges. It's not fair to the DA. They're doing their job as defined in the constitutions. And certainly we get frustrated as law enforcement from time to time because we want a higher bail. But that's why you have an impartial judge. Remember the statute of the judicial, I forget what she is, holding the scales, has a blindfold on because she's weighing the scales of justice and not supposed to be looking at law enforcement or the defense, supposed to be looking at justice and what is actually fair at the end of the day. And it's a very difficult job as judge. And so I would ask you out in the public to push back on those people that are constantly ragging on the judges for low bail. It is not there to punish. It is there to ensure appearance in court.
Absolutely. I was thinking though, sometimes I think some of the sentiment behind that is when someone commits a crime and we find out later they were already out on bail for another offense. I think that tends to upset people.
It's frustrating, but that's why there's conditions of bond. So you let somebody out on bond, and it isn't just a free pass. Okay, you can go do whatever you want. So, for example, the young lady we talked about in the previous segment with the pursuit, she now has conditions of bond that she's not to possess any drugs, not possess or use any drugs. She's also has conditions that she's not to drive a vehicle, and in addition to that, every last condition of bond includes a catch-all. You shall not commit a new crime. If you are captured for a new crime, that is what we call bail jumping. And if it's a misdemeanor, we bring you in. It's a $1,000 cash bond then to get out. If it's a felony, you're held till you see the judge again. And then they can set new conditions. They can set new bond. And certainly that can be frustrating when it's serious offenses that are committed. And we look at the Christmas parade in Waukesha. That was an instance where there was just gross negligence in the Milwaukee DA's office, and they didn't do their job. I can say in Dodge County, our judges, our DAs, they don't do that kind of work like Milwaukee did in that case. There are cases where people get out and they continue to break the law. We'll continue to hold them accountable. If they're more serious cases like this one, she fled, she's still in jail here, and this is 3 weeks later on a $10,000 cash bond. She's not going anywhere. In those cases, a higher bond can be set. If they violate more times, the bond can be changed. Okay, I gave you a $1,000 cash bond. Now it's a $25,000 cash bond. So those things can be changed, and I certainly understand that frustration from a law enforcement side of things. I like it when people are in jail because I know where they are. They're a captive audience for me. But at the same time, I put my citizenry hat on and think we have to remember they are still innocent until proven guilty. They have not been proven guilty. They have that right that constitutional right, which I am sworn to uphold and abide by, just like the judges. We swear to the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin and the Constitution of the United States, and one of them is protecting against excessive bail. We have to remember that. There's conversation out there about bail reform, which I'm happy to be part of, but right now that's what we have and live under, and we can't demonize judges for following the law as it is written today.
We don't have a lot of time, but how much leeway do judges have to determine bond case to case, or is it very cut and dried? This crime warrants this bond.
I don't actually have the guide that they use as judges. That's a good question for a judge or the district attorney. I think there are some guidelines that they have. But a lot of it is there is some leeway for each judge on what they want to do depending on the crime. And so I wish I could answer that question, but I really can't.
Okay, we're out of time. We want to thank Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt for joining us. It's been an hour well spent. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure, and we'll see you out at Rotary Lights on Friday at 5 o'clock.
You've been listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.